First up, one of Netflix's successes is clearly Stranger Things, the 80s-era supernatural thriller from Matt and Ross Duffer that has become a major franchise for the subscription VOD leader. From Variety, according to research from Wall Street firm Cohen & Company, about 51% of current Netflix users said they plan to watch Stranger Things 3. Moreover, nearly 5% of consumers who aren't current Netflix subscribers said they plan to subscribe to the service to watch the show, and 13% of former Netflix members said they plan to resubscribe in order to watch Season 3 of Stranger Things. The results are based on Cohen's survey of 2,500 US consumers conducted from June 26 to July 3rd. Next up, have you heard of Cuphead? It's an indie video game series from studio MDHR with a visual style that calls back to classic 1930s cartoons from the likes of Max Fleischer, creator of Betty Boop, Popeye, and more. From Slash Film, gamers of all ages love this title, and Netflix wants to capitalize on that. Netflix has announced a team-up with King Features to create the Cuphead Show, an animated series based on the video game that aims to expand on the characters and world of Cuphead. The video game has sold over 4 million copies worldwide, and it's also taken home 20 major awards, including Special Achievement in Animation at the 45th Annual Annie Awards, Xbox One's Game of the Year, a BAFTA Games Award for Music, and a trio of statues at the 2017 Game Awards for Best Debut, Best Independent Game, and Best Art Direction. So you can see why this is such a big deal. Next up, the new Halloween movie was a critical success and made a whopping $255.5 million on a modest budget of around $10 million. All of the parties seem to be interested in a possible sequel, in particular Jason Blum himself. From CinemaBlend, when no news came this year, it seemed that another Halloween wouldn't arrive for the holiday season. But an unconfirmed rumor indicates that Halloween director David Gordon Green was going to return for another movie. What's more, he's allegedly signed on to direct back-to-back sequels. Jamie Lee Curtis has expressed interest in playing Laurie Strode again, with the caveat being David Gordon Green's return to the director's chair. Next up, Patrick Swayze's life and legacy will be remembered in an upcoming documentary from Paramount Network and Network Entertainment titled I Am Patrick Swayze. From Deadline, the film is the latest installment of Paramount Network's I Am franchise and will explore the late actor's childhood in Texas, his road to fame, and his relationship with widow Lisa Niemi. The project includes interviews with the late Ghost and Dirty Dancing star's friends and loved ones. I Am Patrick Swayze will premiere at the San Antonio Film Festival on Friday, August 2nd. And finally, until today, very little was known about the next Game of Thrones offering. Other than that, the prequel series will take place 5,000 years before the events of the original story, and that none of the characters from the award-winning series would be featured as part of the new project. From JoBlo.com, George R.R. Martin revealed that Westeros will be divided into nearly 100 kingdoms for the new show. He said the following: "We talk about the 7 kingdoms of Westeros. There were 7 kingdoms at the time of Aegon's conquest. But if you go back further, then there are 9 kingdoms, and 12 kingdoms, and eventually you get back to where there are 100 kingdoms, petty kingdoms, and that's the era we're talking about." The author went on to discuss what we will see in the upcoming series. The Starks will definitely be there. Obviously the White Walkers will be there, or as they're called in my books, the Others, and that will be an aspect of it. There are things like direwolves and mammoths. The Lannisters aren't there yet, but Casterly Rock is certainly there. It's like the Rock of Gibraltar. It's actually occupied by the Casterlys, for whom it's still named after in the time of Game of Thrones. While it's been thought that the prequel will be titled The Long Night, however that was the title of a Season 8 episode, Martin says that the show could be titled The Longest Night. While this isn't the author's preferred name for the new series, Martin says he thinks the augmented version is pretty good. And that will do it for today's installment of the Movie News Feed.